What's up everyone, Master Fox here today making a prediction about Kozmo Dark Planet. I don't think it's going to be very good, unfortunately, and this is because we've seen this trend a few times before. With each successive wave of support for any given archetype, the power and usefulness of said support tends to get worse and worse. And for me, with the confirmation of Kozmo Dark Planet and Shining Victories, I don't expect much out of it. I think it'll end up being something along the lines of a Necraz Sophia, more so than a big boss like Apocryphal Towers. It's almost for sure some sort of final boss for the archetype of Cosmos. That's pretty obvious. And I think it'll be level 10. This is probably pretty much set in stone as well, just judging based on the levels of the Cosmo monsters and what they're missing. In terms of attack and defense, what do we expect out of it? Well, there are a couple of different possibilities. For one, I think 3000 attack is pretty reasonable and a pretty likely number, seeing as most of the other big Cosmo ships are 3000. Of course, this is supposed to be the Death Star, so I can see it having something more than 3000 attack. But how high will it possibly go? Maybe 3500, 4000? I don't think it would go any higher than 4000, to be honest. As for defense values, it's hard to say and guess, but to be honest, does it really matter at all? I don't think so. Konami will probably slap on 2000 defense and call it a day. Now that we have these ideas of possible stats, let's just say we highball their stats and say it's 4000 attack and 2000 defense. So for the Death Star, let's now speculate as to what its summoning requirements are. I think these will be pretty different from the other ships. I fully expect it to be a Nomi clause on the card along the lines of something like cannot be special summoned except by, because without this clause it could be summoned basically by any sort of pilot. And if it could be summoned by pilot, I don't think its effects should be that good. Now as for the rest of this clause, what do I think it is? If I had to garner a guess, I would say it would be something like cannot be special summoned except by banishing 2 level 5 or higher Cosmo monsters you control. The cost will likely be pretty high on this card, and I think it's more likely it will require the burning of these ships in order to summon it rather than the pilots, hence the level 5 or higher designation. Now with these out of the way, what could its unique effects be? Of course, for sure, it will have the cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects clause, but for its own unique effects, this is where the true speculation begins. I think a lot of people speculate that it's going to have something sort of like a Judgment Dragon-like effect of blowing up everything on the field. Since Cosmos do have a sore lack of mass removal cards in their archetype, this would actually be a solid effect for such a card, and I think that's decent. Though I doubt that Konami would make this the card because they will probably make the summoning cost even more severe if this is the true effect. Another possibility, though, is just something like a blanket monster effect negator, something like Destiny Hero Plasma, or maybe even a heavy storm-like effect. However, whatever effect it may have, I would hope that a unique aspect of Dark Planet is that it will blow itself up during the end phase, especially if it has a really good effect. You know, just to mimic A New Hope and all. And I think it might be the first Cosmo ship to not float, and for these reasons I expect it to suck. Now there are a couple of other ideas that people have been bouncing around as well, though I think these are a lot less likely. Some think that it might be a field spell card, which I don't think has much going for it at all, considering we have Cosmo Town, which is really good already. I doubt they could top it with Kozmo Dark Planet. Others think that it could be a Synchro or XYZ monster, another idea which I don't really have much faith in just because the Cosmo archetype doesn't seem to be based around any sort of extra deck, and making their final boss be centralized in the extra deck just doesn't make any sense. So that's pretty much it for this video, just my general speculations about Kozmo Dark Planet, and my general prediction is I don't think it will be very good. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you.